Welcome back into another episode of Rock Boys Football. We've been busting out game film. We've been watching a lot. We've been reading a lot. We've talked about the Georgia-Clemson game. We've talked about the Miami-Alabama game. I think on a national landscape, those are probably the two most exciting and biggest games we'll see this coming Saturday. We have another really interesting one we want to talk about. UCLA and Chip Kelly host LSU in California, and this is a really interesting game. I think it's interesting for a lot of reasons. UCLA, for one, looked phenomenal against a Hawaii team.
Real good.
You guys know we were kind of
big, fast, athletic. Yeah,
we were big UCLA believers coming into the season, and they made us look good on Saturday. Now, what to do with this Saturday? What's our pick? What do we think is going to happen? Look, we've been negative on LSU for a decent amount of the summer. We don't get where the hype is. The line started at 6.5. LSU was 6.5. It's down to 2.5. You hammer LSU here.
Take them.
They'll kick us off. I know Dill loves this pick. They'll get us going.
So this pick, if you leave it at what was 6, if I were looking at it at 6, so -6 LSU, I think this is an easy pick for taking UCLA to at least cover the spread and possibly take a money line just simply on a value play. Now, my problem is with this is now you've got it to very close to a pick 'em. And my issue is Dorian Thompson-Robinson looked really weak throwing the ball last game. And again, that wouldn't be a big issue to me if he'd proven himself as a college thrower. But I don't think that's the case. I think last year he struggled generally throwing the ball and being super consistent in the air. I didn't see that get corrected last game. And I get that it's one game. He didn't get really a chance to throw the ball a whole lot. But they're going to need to do a lot more than just run the ball against this LSU defense. And again, in my opinion, where LSU really struggled last year and where I could see possible some struggles this year is that secondary giving up big plays. And I don't see UCLA as being the team to expose them. So I think the matchup sets up actually pretty good for LSU. Based on what I think DTR might be at this point in his career.
It's a phenomenal matchup, I think, for LSU. I mean, I think Vegas is overcorrecting 2 ways. UCLA looked really good against Hawaii, and I cannot argue that. The only argument I can make is it was Hawaii. I think they're also overcorrecting for the travel to California. Like, look, these guys are going to be ready to play. They haven't played in a very long time. They're going to be ready to play. They could be playing in Japan. They could be playing in Brazil. They would be ready to play football. It doesn't matter where. It's going to be in the Rose Bowl. I'm not worried about that. As far as the matchup goes, UCLA is not going to be able to run the ball on LSU like they did against Hawaii. It just won't happen.
The way I see it, LSU, big defensive line and really athletic linebackers, which I think is a good combo for stopping the run, especially against a team that kind of likes to spread it out and run it, which is essentially what UCLA was doing. I'm with you. I think it is going to be very tough sledding. For as much as I don't love the LSU pass rushing unit, I think they are pretty formidable guys against the run, so I do like them to be able to stop them and challenge LSU in that department.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's another thing, and we've talked about it on the show a lot. I will admittedly was wrong about it when picking or discussing at least the Nebraska-Illinois game, but at the end of the day, talent matters. LSU has recruited phenomenally the last 5 years, way better than UCLA. So you're giving me 2.5 points. I don't care where they play. They are a way better football team, a way more talented football team than UCLA is. Chip Kelly's a good coach. they're playing at home. It doesn't matter. Like I don't think they can make up for this big of a difference in talent.
Yeah, because again, I think we have whatever heat. LSU's used to the heat. No worries about weather and all that stuff. I'm with you. They're overcorrecting from last game. This line shouldn't have moved like it did, and LSU is. I mean, you asked me at the beginning of this year. I think they should have been more than a touchdown favorite based on what I think the relative teams like. I know LSU struggled last year, but God, like, I'm not ready to crown UCLA as like a team that would contend in the SEC or even be particularly competitive. So that's kind of how I see it. I think the talent is a very big mismatch. And LSU's not a team that like quote loses like Nebraska. Like they don't play down from their standard that often. So I really like this pick. I really like LSU going in to play UCLA even at their house. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited that line moves like it did.
Yep, I agree. I think one last thing I want to talk about is, well, I guess we did talk about like UCLA. LSU has some dogs up front. I don't think UCLA will have as much success running. Zach Charbonnet and Britton Brooks look great. I won't argue it, but it was a product of just so much space. I mean, the O-line was just winning up front. And when you give good running backs, and rightfully so, that much space against not the best athletes and like linebackers for Hawaii, they're going to make stuff happen. They won't have that space against LSU. And I think vice versa, LSU is really big up front on offense. They have a mobile quarterback in Max Johnson. John Emery Jr. is slated to start that game. He's a top 15 overall recruit, the third best running back in his class, I believe. He excites me. We didn't really see much of him. We saw a lot of Davis Price last year, and I don't think he was that good. Kiner and Goodwin are also kind of in that backfield. I think LSU is going to be able to run the ball really well. And you pair that with one of the best receivers in the country in Kayshon Boutte. It's a good pick. They're better on both sides of the ball. And I don't care if it's in UCLA, and I don't care how good UCLA looked against a Hawaii football team that's not that good.
And just as a note, UCLA returning their whole secondary, but that was a unit that really was not very good last year. They were the 11th best team in the Pac-12. So that's like they're right at the bottom of that league in the past D. And what I don't think those D linemen on UCLA are going to be able to expose LSU like they did Hawaii. Like they couldn't block them. I don't see that matchup being so one-sided. So I think you test that secondary with a really pretty good stable of wideouts at UCLA. I think you could. I just like the matchup.
One more thing I'll add, and we'll cut the episode. We'll let you guys go on your day and just get some money in your pocket. I don't know, and you might have a better answer to this, and more people who are involved in more game planning, X's and O's stuff kind of past my pay grade. Like, how big of an advantage is it that they have a game of film on UCLA? They've seen their looks, they've seen what they're going to try to do. Granted, they probably stopped showing that many looks of what they're trying to do throughout the second half, but they give you a lot of uneven fronts, a lot of odd-looking defensive fronts. They bring a lot of guys from different places, including that linebacker safety spot. Like, that's all on film. That's all. Ado and the Tigers are looking at that game and getting ready for what to prepare for. So I think that's another interesting aspect of it that I don't know if that's that.
That is a good point. I didn't really think about it, but it can't hurt. Maybe it doesn't help a ton, but it can't hurt.
Exactly. So that'll do it for this pick. We like this pick. We'll be giving you guys out some smaller game picks that we like from just summer scouting, reading. We won't go into as in depth as we have with some of the bigger nationally recognized games. But again, if you guys want us to discuss a game, let us know. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate all the support we've been getting since we've been starting this thing. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.